What is first topic?
First topic. Okay. First topic.
Transitivity pair.
Transitive, intransitive.
Transitive and transitive. Yes. So first of all, this is grammatical terms. So you might not know that. That's why my friend Andy, not actually friend, but my friend Andy explained from the very beginning, which really kind. I found very kind. Okay, so let's listen what Andy explained.
The first thing we're covering tonight is transitive and intransitive verb pairs. So a couple people in chat have been mentioning, like Carpe Diem, that they don't really remember what a transitive and an intransitive verb is in English. And I'm the same. I didn't remember what the grammatical terms meant, and until I started teaching Japanese, I really didn't remember what the difference was either as far as in the terminology. Now, in its usage, it becomes pretty obvious. Transitive verbs are when someone, a subject, acts upon something else, an object. So a subject acts on an object, that's a transitive verb. So for example, 私はドアを開ける。私はドアを開ける. That means I open the door. So
I
someone
open the door.
acts the door. I act on the door. I open the door. So 開ける is a transitive verb because it involves a subject, in this case myself, acting on 開ける, an object, which in this case is a door. Now, intransitive is the opposite of that. Something undergoes a change of some sort. There's no subject acting on an object. There is just an object undergoing change. In this case, the door opens. ドアが開く. ドアが開く. Now, the reason that we're introducing transitivity pairs, that's what they call this in the chapter in Genki, is that there's lots of verbs in Japanese that look the same. They have the same kanji. The kanji is read the same. They mean pretty much the same thing, to open, but one is a transitive verb, ドアを開ける, open the door, and another is an intransitive verb, ドアが開く. Now, one thing you need to notice here is that transitive verbs take o, sometimes some other particles as well, but o, right? O marks the object that is being acted upon.
Yes.
Whereas intransitive verbs don't take o, they take ga, ドアが開く. Important thing to remember right off the bat. So let's go ahead and look at some more examples. Genki lists about, I believe, 12 verbs, 12 pairs in this lesson, and I'm not going to show you all of them right now. You can look in the book if you want, if you have it with you right now and you want to check them out quickly. I'm going to show them all to you during the question time of this section. So if you're watching this on the replay and you'd like to see the moment. So let's go over some example sentences. The first one is ドアを閉めた. I closed the door. So this is a transitive verb. ドアを閉めた. I closed the door. So even though there's no watashi here, you know it's a transitive verb because we've got the full particle for starters. And 閉めた, 閉める is the transitive verb for to close. So I closed the door. Here we've got が閉まった. ドアが閉まった. The door closed. Nobody closed it. The door just closed on its own.
Yeah, so let's see transitive and intransitive verbs. Okay, tell me about what is the definition of transitive?
Transitive.
Hi.
Okay, transitive is involve subject. Okay, involve subject and object.
Yes, subject and object. Okay, so technically, if you're gonna use transitive verb, that sentence you wanna make should have subject, someone, and act upon something. So, ドアを開ける. Of course, someone is 私はドアを開ける. And something act upon is door. Yes, so two elements always involved. That's key. Two elements. Okay. On the other hand, intransitive. Intransitive, Yukiko.
A particle. and no subject.
What describe? What intransitive describes?
なんだろう、intransitive. So,
Yeah.
how should we say? So, no object?
No, yeah, because the earlier object we acted upon actually now becomes the protagonist of the sentence. It's the subject now. So still something appeared like center in that sentence. However, it's not object. It is like the subject now. So something undergoes change. That's Andy explained. Something undergoes change. Okay, point. Nobody acts. Nobody acted upon it. It happened without your volition involves. That's Andy said in the video, by the way. Yeah. So nobody's action, nobody's intention, nobody's volition. It just happened. For example, when typhoon comes, whose will, whose intention, whose volition? Nobody. 台風が来る。So 台風が来る doesn't have something act upon. Basically, 台風が来る is if we categorize into two groups here, obviously intransitive. Other verbs. For example, 夏はプールで泳ぎます。Here, what do you think? Transitive, intransitive. プールで泳ぎます。
This is a intransitive.
Exactly, because there is no object act upon. プールで泳ぐ。For example, 公園で走ります。Technically, there's no direct object involved into this action. So it's intransitive. But today's intransitive and transitive is like that. They're gonna pick up that kind of pairs in Japanese language because it exists. Okay, what's difficult is, first of all, sounds really similar. はい、ドアを開ける。This is 一段 verb. 開ける。And 漢字 is same. ドアが開く。漢字 is same. So what you have to pay attention is if you see 漢字, you cannot grasp like someone's action or something just happens. You have to see how it's gonna conjugate. For example, if it's in past tense, 私はドアを past tense
開けた。
開けた。ドアが開く past tense
ドアが開いた。
開いた。You see here 開けた開いた looks different now, right? Yeah, so this is the pairs. So since it's pairs, it's confusing. That's why Genki made this one section. Okay, then the second example Andy explored is 閉める。閉めた。閉める。閉まる。So ドアを閉めた。ドアが閉まった。Using different verb, but really similar. Because one, 閉める。閉める。This is 一段 verb. On the other hand, 閉まる is 五段 verb. I think in the video, Andy said that some information about this, how you can identify that these pairs, which is intransitive, which is transitive. Yes. Remember what he said?
I don't remember that.
Okay, let's listen.
Okay.
E section and then add mas. So for example, aruku becomes arukimasu. Well, there's no trick like that for transitive and intransitive verbs because it's not a conjugation. Technically, they're different words. They use the same kanji and they mean something very similar, but they're just different words, which means you just have to memorize them and you have to memorize how they're used. And this is one reason why I strongly recommend having sentences for every single word that you learn. So if you have an Anki deck that's just words all by them.
Okay, so what Andy said is there's no good news. There's no rule. You can detect, okay, this is it, this is that. There's no rule. So it's just a different word. 開ける、開けた。開く、開いた。So you have to just memorize.
Yeah, so should remember.
Yes, yes, yes. And in order to do so, what you gonna recommend? Memorizing tough, Yukiko sensei. How should I do that?
Yeah, I want to ask you.
What?
So, what do you think? I think so. Just to memorize. I think so. Just to memorize.
Okay.
What do you think? Yeah, because so in Japan, so Japanese people doesn't think about intransitive, transitive. So we naturally talk. Speak out. Transitive, intransitive.
Yeah.
So correctly. So that's why maybe I think so getting used to it. So used to be speaking, used to speaking. It's very important.
Yeah, okay, so your point is Japanese people tend to they never care about this. First of all, these terminologies, intransitive, intransitive. Yes, we would learn in the middle school about the Japanese grammar, 自動詞、他動詞. However, it doesn't mean we always think about which to use. No, not at all. Until the middle school, we already be successfully able to speak Japanese. Hi, Jessica さん、こんにちは。Okay, then how can you differentiate? Okay, let's look into it. So, ドアを開ける。それから、ドアが開く。Okay. Next, ドアを閉める。ドアが閉まる。Okay. Next, Andy said 消える。を消す。消す。が消える。Okay, next. を壊す。break. And が壊れる。Okay, let's see one more. を入れる。が入る。Oh my gosh, different sound. お、one more. 出るいこう。を出す。Okay, I do ひらがな for reason. が出る。Okay, let's see. One thinks it's obvious. ドゥエインさん、こんにちは。ようこそ。One thinks, it's worthy to remember, but Andy didn't mention is this す. Okay, if you see す, what does it mean?
す
Yeah, 消す、出す。す。Okay, you see
no,
here.
Nothing.
You see here the list of verbs. You can find the some tendency from this.
Okay.
Okay, from this group of categorization. You see here, right? What appeared when the verb ends with す?
Syllable?
No.
What do you mean?
When the verb ends with す, it's transitive. It's always transitive. It has to be transitive. If verb ends with す, it's transitive. It's very, very, very unlikely it can be intransitive. And you can explain.
Not always.
Okay, tell me.
not
Yeah, tell me.
always.
Tell me the exception. Verb ends with す, but intransitive.
Intransitive?
Yes, tell me.
消す、電気を消す。電気を消す。
携帯を壊す。No. Not I'm not saying that transitive verb always end with su. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if it ends with su, pretty much it's transitive.
Okay.
So if the verb you encounter just pop it up is end with su, it's pretty much transitive. And why?
Why?
There's a reason. There is a reason. Think. Because because it means suru. It means suru. You do the action. Someone acts upon something means there's some of these action. So it's like action is always like suru, right? Suru. So suru is transitive. So that the verb end with su is originally kind of like you can image like this that comes from suru verb. That's why kesu is always transitive. On the other hand, if it's not end with su, of course you cannot determine it is then intransitive. It's not. Yes, as Yukiko sensei said, yes, it can be transitive. So this is just a clue that if you see a verb end with su, okay, it's transitive pretty much. That's all it. And yes, in transitive, what I want to say here is super unlikely that verb end with su. So it's just an opposite way of saying. Okay, Bo-san, thank you for asking. Yes, ga always stand before intransitive. That's true. But you have to be aware that sometimes we're gonna replace ga particle. For example, for the reason, if we wanna contrast to the other element, you might want to use wa instead. So for a reason. That's the case. So you just have to see this ga particle as a standard item. It's a standard, but not 100%. Yes, I would say ga is usually stand before intransitive. Yeah, because sometimes other purpose like particles pop up, replaced. Okay, so another way of thinking. Okay, other than the clue of su, here, 入れる, 入る is really mean because it's same kanji but even different reading. はい、砂糖を入れます。コーヒーに砂糖が入った。猫を外に出します。あ、猫が出た。Like same consonant, 出す出る。But 入れる入る is even different consonant. 入れる is vowel and 入る is consonant. Yeah. So, I would say, if it's su, here, 開く is 5段。閉まる5段。But 消える is 1段。壊れる1段。入る1段。出る1段。Yeah, 1段。1段 more in transitive group. Transitive, 開け。But yes, it's not always. 1段、5段、5段、5段。1段、入れる、入れない。1段 and 5段. Of course, if end with su, it means 5段. So we have more chance, the transitive more chance to become 5段. Yeah. But okay, so what's you gonna recommend? As Andy explored in the chapter, like he's making the sentence like ドアを開けましょう。あ、ドアが開いてる。誰か、ドアが開けてある。Like you gonna make a sentence like using both and make sure using particles. ドアを閉めよう。あ、もうドアが閉まってる。誰かが閉めたのかな、電気を消したいです。いいですか？あ、電気が消えてる。So you're gonna make these two verbs, both, and make sure perfectly used particles. O, ga. Alright. What else you wanna say?
So maybe I think, yeah, transitive and intransitive is one of the most difficult point in Japanese language. And so the more you have learned, the more encounter a lot of phrase, a lot of vocabulary. Intransitive, transitive, unlimitedly, unlimited. What do you think?
Think about what?
So, how should Japanese learner study